Typhoon Lagoon is one of two water parks at the Walt Disney World Resort, and after my most recent visit, I think it's the best one there. This is one of the better themed water parks in the world, and it includes a unique set of attractions. But should you add this park onto your Disney vacation? I think that depends on a few things, and I'll go into those in this review. Walt Disney World opened River Country back in 1976 as the nation's first themed water park. It was small, but decently popular, which led to it often selling out. As a result, Disney built a second and far larger water park in 1989 named Typhoon Lagoon. It is now the resort's oldest water park because River Country closed in 2001. The park has some great theming for a water park. Typhoon Lagoon is themed to a tropical island ravaged by a storm. The park is lushly landscaped with trees around every corner. It really feels like you're at a tropical paradise. And I like how most of the slides are on traditional towers. Most of them are built onto the man-made Mount Mayday, which gives the park a more unique, organic, and natural feel. The queue lines in this section feel more like nature trails as they have windy paths that change elevation as you go up the hill. Heck, there are even some walking trails separate from the rides too. Then you have the wreckage scattered about the park, including the iconic ship teetering atop Mount Mayday. It is one of the most iconic sights in any water park. Typhoon Lagoon is a short drive away from the resort's other parks. But fun fact, it's technically located in a different town. All the resort's other parks are in Bay Lake, while Typhoon Lagoon is officially in Lake Buena Vista. Getting to this park is significantly easier if you have a car, and unlike the theme parks, Typhoon Lagoon has free parking. If you're staying at an on-site resort, get ready for a headache. I'm a big fan of Disney World's bus system. It's really nice if you're on site. You can easily get from parks and hotels, but for whatever reason, as of 2022, the only buses to Typhoon Lagoon depart and return to Disney Springs. It took us 30 to 45 minutes to go from our hotel to Disney Springs and then to Typhoon Lagoon. And if you're trying to park hop, get ready for a migraine. It is impossible to go between the theme parks and Disney Springs. This presumably is to deter people from parking for free at Disney Springs to avoid that $25 cost to park at the parks. So you have to use 3 different buses to get between Typhoon Lagoon. You have a bus from the park to the hotel, then a bus from the hotel to Disney Springs, and then lastly a bus to Typhoon Lagoon. This process took over an hour for us. We would have visited this park a few times our most recent vacation if it was easier to get there. If you don't have a car, it may be worth just springing for an Uber. I believe there used to be direct service from the hotels before COVID, and I really hope that returns soon. It makes the park a lot more attractive. Day tickets currently cost $69. If you're staying for a few days, it costs roughly the same price to add the water parks onto a multi-day park hopper ticket. This is the option we used. Let's talk about when to visit. Typhoon Lagoon is usually open through spring and summer, but it typically will close for a few months around the fall or winter. When this happens, the resort's other water park in Blizzard Beach typically stays open. The one risk about visiting in the winter is that the park can sometimes close if it's too cold outside. You'll never have that issue in summer. The park is busier in the summer months, but it doesn't get the same crowds of the theme parks. I've only visited in the summer months, and most slides have been walk-ons for me in my visits. The two that have had waits in my visits have been Misadventure Falls and Gusher, but neither were longer than 10 to 15 minutes. From what I can gather, a half hour seems to be about the longest wait you'll encounter on what's a busy day for them. And in the spring and summer months, I imagine everything will be a complete walk-on with the cooler weather. I would advise arriving at opening for a few reasons. I think you can comfortably do everything in a half day, but Florida's weather can throw a major curveball at you. From May through September, Orlando's notorious for afternoon thunderstorms, and if one of these hits, all the attractions at Typhoon Lagoon will close. Arriving early should allow you to experience these attractions with no trouble, just in case a storm does roll in. Arriving early will also guarantee everything will be a walk-on, even if it was a busier day. I recommend you start your day by getting multiple laps on Gusher. Not only is it the park's best and most popular attraction, but it has 3 different slides to experience. Then I would hit Misadventure Falls, especially because it's nearby, before you proceed to the other attractions. And like any Disney park, staff members are super friendly and operations here are quite fast. And unlike most water parks that only allow 1 tube on the course at once, Disney will send people down as quickly as you can board. The park layout forms a loop around the giant wave pool. You can either walk or utilize the Castaway Creek Lazy River. This waterway has 5 different entry and exit points, typically near clusters of attractions. This is both a convenient and relaxing way to get around the park, and it really is one of the better lazy rivers out there between the visuals and convenience. Plus, you can choose between traditional single tubes, double tubes, and lounge rafts. I haven't seen the latter at any other park before. Most of the water slides are located in the back of the park, specifically on Mount Mayday. The lineup has some good tube slides, but it's not the strongest in the body slide department. If you want those, head to Blizzard Beach. One of the biggest issues with Typhoon Lagoon is that the lineup has been pretty stagnant through the years, as there have only been 2 major new attractions added since the turn of the millennium. The newer slides are located off to the right in their own little areas. One of those slides is the best one in Crush and Gusher. This trio of Master Blaster water slides uses water jets to propel riders uphill. Then each one has 3 fun drops. Each gets progressively wilder, with the final one giving a good pop of airtime. And then you're forcefully shot into the pool at the end, so prepare to wipe out. I have an entire review in this attraction, but I think it's Disney's best water slide. I also want to note that I believe single riders are allowed in 2 of the slides, but you will need a partner to experience Banana Blaster. I think the slides ride fairly similarly, but again, it does give you some variety if you try all 3. The newest slide is Misadventure Falls. This is a long family raft slide. You have a few small dips and some decent turns along the way. And unlike the other slides at this park, you will not need to walk to the top. You board the rafts at the bottom and then ride a conveyor belt to the top, which is really nice. Gangplank Falls is another unique family raft slide. This one honestly feels more like a river rapids ride. You actually have some rapids that'll send splashes into the raft. Then there's a giant waterfall that'll absolutely drench you. The one downside with this attraction is that you need to lug the rafts to the top. The slide isn't too tall, but the rafts are extremely heavy and awkward. The final 2 tube slides are on Mount Mayday, and they only allow single riders. Mayday Falls is a rowdy tube slide featuring elements of a river rapids ride. It is a turbulent downhill journey, and don't be surprised if your tube spins sideways or backwards at points. That's part of the fun. You don't see slides like this built nowadays, and the slide is scenic too as it's embedded in the hillside. Keel Hall Falls has a similarly great setting, but it's much milder. It's pretty tame, minus a surprise helix towards the end. Then there are 2 body slides to choose from. Storm Slides is a trio of body slides winding down the hill. I love the look of this slide, but it is very slow, and you can also feel some of the joints in your back. Honestly, I'd skip this one. Humunga Cowabunga is the more extreme of the 2. This is a 5-story slide sending you straight down the hill. It's enclosed and very fast, but the drop isn't quite as steep as some, so don't expect airtime. This is purely about the speed. Watch out for the landing though, because it can be a bit rough on your back. For the kids, you have some smaller slides and the dedicated Catch a Kitty Creek play area. Now it's time to talk about the star at Typhoon Lagoon, the surf pool. This is one of the world's largest wave pools, and more importantly, the best and most intense. Every 90 seconds, this pool produces what Disney advertises as a 6-foot tall wave, but I'm pretty sure they're way taller than that. They towered over me. These are monsters that feel every bit as large as the ones at Mount Olympus. They are capable of knocking everyone in the pool backwards, or you can try to body surf them, which if you do that correctly, it is such a fun sensation. And unlike most wave pools that never go deeper than 3 to 4 feet, this one amazingly goes as deep as 12 feet at the far end. This attraction is undoubtedly cool to experience firsthand, but it's also cool to watch off-ride because the waves are really a spectacle. The pool has 2 modes. You have the giant surf wave I just described, and a more traditional bobbing wave, which consists of constant but small and gentle waves. This is run a few half-hour increments during the day. Check the surf report board by the midway when each mode is in use. If you want a more relaxing experience in a pool, you have a few quieter ones such as Hideaway Bay, or you can grab one of the many lounge chairs by the beach. This really is one of the best water parks to relax in because of that atmosphere. Some additional logistical notes. The park of course has changing rooms, and then there are 2 banks of lockers, one towards the front by the entry midway, and one towards the back by Humunga Cowabunga. It's $10 for a regular locker and $15 for a large one. That is actually quite reasonable compared to most water parks. Then there are a few food stands scattered about the park. I personally cannot comment on their quality because I've only gotten meals at Disney World hotels and standard theme parks. I think Typhoon Lagoon is one of the country's best water parks. You have that wonderful atmosphere, 2 elite attractions in the surf pool and Crush and Gusher, plus some unique supporting rides. Of the water parks in Orlando, I think the best 2 are Typhoon Lagoon and Volcano Bay. It's splitting hairs. I think Universal's Volcano Bay reigns supreme when it comes to water slides. That park has some of the most extreme slides in the world, plus an equally as cool atmosphere. But I think it's easier to have a better day at Typhoon Lagoon because you do not have to worry about the lengthy virtual queue return times, and you can move at a slower pace at Typhoon Lagoon because crowds are much less of an issue here. If you can only visit one of the Disney water parks, I would pick Typhoon Lagoon over Blizzard Beach after my most recent visit. I think the park is stronger top to bottom, both in terms of attractions and the theming. Should you take time out of your Disney World vacation to visit Typhoon Lagoon though, I would definitely prioritize the theme parks, but if you're there for at least a week, I would look into spending a day here, especially if you love water parks. You will not find many better than Typhoon Lagoon, and it's a nice contrast from the hustle and bustle of the main parks. So those are my thoughts on Typhoon Lagoon, the tropical themed water park at Walt Disney World. What are your thoughts on this park? Do you prefer this place or Blizzard Beach? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.